Hi guys, welcome back to another video. I thought for this one that it would be appropriate to do a fireside chat. I thought it would be cozy. I wish this was more festive because it's the month of December, but literally the fireplace itself is the best I could do. We have a wreath above it, but you can't see it, unfortunately. It won't fit in the frame. Today I just wanted to do an HA Q&A, just answer any questions that you guys had in terms of like my experience with HA or any advice that I had for you guys. Now I obviously want to start this video off by saying I am not a doctor. I am not a specialist. This is really just kind of me sharing more questions on my experience with HA and any advice that I can help you guys with that is in my scope, I guess, if you will. Before we get started, in case you are new, super quickly, I'm just going to give you a rundown of my story with HA. So I developed HA this past February when I was studying abroad in Spain. I just was really under eating. I was staying with a host mom in a homestay. Wasn't eating enough, probably only anywhere from like 1,000 to 1,300 calories. Lost my period for about 8 months. During the summer, I was in a caloric deficit, got to a really low body fat percentage, and was training with a ton of high intensity, which did not help to get my period back at all. Then in August, I found out that it was actually, I had hypothalamic amenorrhea and that I had little to no estrogen in my body, and that's why I was not getting a period. Now it is today. I have gotten 4 consecutive periods. I am currently menstruating. I never thought I would say that so proudly, but I got my 4th period about like 4 days ago. So it's just going really well, I guess. So I'm just gonna hop right into these. These are a mix of questions between people on my Instagram and people from that watch my YouTube. First question, how long were you actively recovering before you got your period back? Great question. In August, I found out that I actually had, like, my hormones were getting impacted, that I needed to make a change. So I would say from like mid-August, I made changes, and then on September 16th, I got my first period. So I would say anywhere between like 4 to 6 weeks after I started to make changes in my diet and in my training, I got my period back. 2, you mentioned increasing your fats, but did you find that you significantly increased your carbs as well? Yes, I definitely made an intention to increase my amount of healthy fat intake through like avocado and fish and things like that, but specifically I really focused on increasing my omega-3s. So I made sure that I ordered like chia seeds and flax seeds and added those into like either my oatmeal or like on top of my protein pancakes or something like that. And I also would take an omega-3 supplement as well. And then I most definitely increased my starchy carb intake because over the summer I was eating tons of vegetables, but my starchy carb intake was pretty low. So I added in more things like sweet potatoes, quinoa, and rice. Because starchy carbs definitely play a role in hormone regulation as well, and also helping you put on a little bit of body fat, which is really necessary for estrogen regulation as well. 3, do you track your calories / macros? Now, I kind of have a longer answer for this, and I want to make sure that I say this the right way. I've never tracked calories consistently or macros in the past. It just never really worked for me. I've always been just more of an advocate for intuitive eating. I did not track at all during my recovery. So like up until the point of me getting my first few periods, I didn't track during that or anything. But I am tracking my calories now just to make sure that I am eating enough now and to make sure that I don't kind of slip into eating too little, and also just so I know how much my body actually does need to function properly. And also I'm going to add to that, I don't think you need to track ever, and I don't think you need to track in order to recover from HA, in my opinion. I think that you can do it intuitively. I did do it intuitively, so I'm living proof. Okay, 4, how did you make sure that you were eating enough? Going hand in hand, did you eat the recommended 2,500 calories a day? Now, I've gotten so many questions and just like comments about how the recommendation to recover from HA is to eat 2,500 calories. I honestly didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't know that was like the recommendation. I definitely did not eat 2,500 calories a day. I would say, again, I didn't track, but I'm pretty confident that I ate anywhere between like 2,000 and 2,300 max a day, and I still was able to recover. And going with that, how did you make sure you were eating enough? That's a really good question. I just made this is my thing. I think with any sort of dietary changes, exercise changes, gradually is the best way to go. So I just made sure like that I was eating a little bit more than what I normally would. I would give the same advice for if someone asked me like, how did you lose weight with intuitively eating? It's just that I would kind of eat similarly day to day anyways. So when I knew that I would have like a third of a cup of oatmeal, this is just an example, I would now say, okay, I'm going to bump it up to a half a cup of oatmeal instead of a third a cup of oatmeal. Or instead of like a little dollop of peanut butter, I'm going to add a little bit more, a bigger dollop of peanut butter, that sort of thing. So I guess I didn't know exactly how much I was eating, or I didn't know if I was hitting a certain caloric target, but I didn't have a caloric target. I just knew that I wanted to slowly and systematically start to gradually increase my calories. So kind of a long answer, but I just made sure that I was slowly adding a little bit more calories and eating a little bit more than I did like the previous week. 5, did you get a specialist to help you recover? Awesome question. I'm happy someone asked this. I didn't. I was at the gynecologist. They told me my estrogen was low. They wanted to put me on progesterone to like kickstart a period, and then put me on birth control afterwards to regulate my period. I said, nuh-uh, I know that I don't need to do that, and I'm just very aware of how much your training and your exercise affects the body. I just did research myself. I knew that healthy fats play a role with hormone regulation, and I knew that females can lose a period from having low body fat percentage. My sister, I will say my sister is a registered dietitian, so I did contact her as well just to kind of like verify, and she was like, yes, for sure, increasing your healthy fats and starchy carbs and just eating more calories and putting on some body fat will definitely help you to naturally get your period back. Now I have a lot of questions about my training, so that was kind of like my food section. I tried to organize these a little bit. So now going into my training. Now I will say before answering these, I do have a whole entire video going over like my old training routine, what I got rid of in my training routine, what I kept in my training routine, why I kept those things, and my full training routine during recovery. So I'll link that here if you guys want to watch that. First one is, how many times per week were you weight training? Will is trying to get your period back. I was weight training about like 3 to 4 days per week. 7, did you decrease your weight training time and or intensity? Yes, I did. Both, especially my leg days are always very intense. I was really push my weight. So basically what I did was I pulled back on the number of exercises that I did during leg day. So usually I would do like anywhere from 6 to 7 exercises. I pulled back to like 4 to 5 exercises. I definitely decreased my weight a little bit, and I increased my rest times in between each set. 8, were you able to continue HIIT training during recovery? No, that was the first thing that I got rid of when I went to reevaluate my training routine. Was I got rid of all of my HIIT cardio sessions. I only was doing 1 session per week, but I still just got rid of it. These 2 questions I got were pretty similar, so I just put them together. It says, did you get any symptoms that your hormones were balancing before you got your period? If so, what were they? And did you experience any signs that your period was coming back? If so, what were they? Yes, I did experience some symptoms. You know when you can just like feel that your period's coming down there? That's like what I was feeling. I just was kind of feeling pressure and some cramps. And then my biggest sign was I was starting to get discharge. I know that might be TMI for some people. Like over the summer when I had like no signs of a period, I had like literally no discharge. Like for months, I just didn't have discharge. Then once I got my hormones tested, it all made sense, and it was like, wow, this is really cool. Because I looked it up, and I think you get more discharge after you're ovulating, I think is what I read. Which makes sense that like now you start to get more discharge as your cycle starts to become more regulated again. So that was a really big one, was that I started to get discharge again, and that I noticed, and I was like, whoa, this is different, something's working. So then going with that, it says, how long after having symptoms did your period come back? I would say like anywhere from like 1 to 2 weeks. 13, did you get your hormones tested after getting your period back to see the difference? No, I have not done that yet, and I really want to. I want to vlog it. I think that'd be really cool, just interesting to see the numbers. A part of me, like before, I didn't really care, because I just, as long as I'm functioning properly, you know, like I'm chilling. Especially because when I first got my hormones tested, everything was completely normal. It was just my estrogen. So now that I am normally menstruating, I can't help but think my estrogen is back at normal levels. But I think it would be really cool to compare the 2 numbers and like have it on paper and show you guys like the proof, and like that, just to see my actual like hormonal levels increase. That'd be cool to me to see. So I would like to do that, and I would like to vlog it. 14, what did you do to not gain too much weight back during recovery? Now I know these types of questions can be triggering to people if they have HA due to an eating disorder or exercise addiction or body dysmorphia or any of the sort. So I want to be mindful of that. I want to be respectful of that. My advice would be for that is like, just don't worry about your weight gain. Like there comes to a point where your actual health and your internal health is so much more important than your physique and the way that you look. The whole reason and point of healthy eating and exercise in the first place, the whole foundational reason, is for optimal health. And if you aren't menstruating and if your body is shutting down other systems, okay, then clearly you aren't in optimal health. So first and foremost, just focus. Doesn't matter the way you look. Like, dig deeper, find a deeper meaning of fitness, and truly take care of yourself, because it deserves it. Your body deserves love, and your body deserves to be healthy in its best form. But if you kind of have more of a situation that's similar to me, that it's a more mild case of HA, what I did to not gain too much weight back is exactly what I've been saying, is gradual changes. This is where it's at. You don't need to jump up to 2,500 calories if you're eating 12, 1,300, 1,400 calories. You don't need to. Slowly, gradually increase your calories, slowly taper off your exercise. That's exactly what I did, and I am up about 5 to 6 pounds, which for me, I'm comfortable with. I think this is naturally where my body wants to sit. I think my most shredded would be about 6 pounds lighter than my normal maintenance when I'm walking around every day. I obviously can't walk around shredded 24/7 for the rest of my life. 15, what were some of the non-physique goals that you set for yourself? Super funky question, I liked it. Honestly, I didn't really have any like strength goals or anything like that, because I did need to take a step back from training and like my intensity in training. But my main goal was just to simply get my period back. Like, I was determined, because I did not want to go on any sort of hormones. I don't know, I've always been super hesitant to put myself on any sort of hormones. I just don't. I'm like that with everything. I don't use a lot of products in my hair. I don't use like, I just like being as natural as possible. It's just how I am. And so I just was determined, because I was like, if I don't get my period back, like, my family and my friends, my doctors are gonna be like, we're sorry, but like, you have to go on hormones to fix this. And I just didn't want to do that. So I just was determined. That was my biggest goal, was just to get my period back. And also my second goal, I would say, was just to feel strong again. I definitely was super agile and like athletic over the summer when I was really lean, but I did miss feeling like a powerhouse in the gym and just like feeling strong again. So I knew that putting on some weight would honestly make me feel that way again. 16, will doing an ab workout during recovery put too much stress on the body? Again, I can't give you a definitive answer. I'm not a professional, but I am a personal trainer. And I will say my concise answer is that no, I don't think it will put too much stress on the body, depending on the intensity of the session. So I think if you give yourself an adequate amount of rest time in between your sets, like a couple of minutes, and also keeping the exercises to a reasonable amount, like probably no more than 5 exercises, I don't think that would be too much stress on your body. 17, after having your third period, can I do a small deficit without risking my period? I thought this was a really good question. I had been wondering this myself. I do think, like, for me, in my opinion, the third period mark, I felt that was when I was kind of like made it, I guess. I wouldn't say in the clear, but I felt like that's when I like really was getting over the hump of recovery. Hormonal restoration does take a long time for your body to get fully acclimated. Would I recommend that you go into a deficit 3 periods into recovery? No, I don't think I would recommend anybody to do that. Do I think going into a small deficit of maybe no more than 200 calories would risk losing your period? No, but again, it just depends on how much you're currently eating. So like, if you're currently eating 1,600 calories, no, I wouldn't recommend going down to 1,500 or 1,400 calories to go into a deficit. So I feel like I would need a little bit more information to answer that question. I would say if you're eating anywhere from like 1,850 upwards calories, you could slip into a small deficit, but again, just be more mindful of that and like really think if you want to put your body into a stressed state again, because any sort of deficit is putting at least a subtle stress on your body. All right, that is all the questions that I'm going to answer today. I hope this was helpful. I hope you gained some more insight in one way or another. If you are currently recovering from HA, girl, I believe in you. It's gonna be worth it. I know the weight gain can be uncomfortable. I know it can kind of suck not having the gym as your outlet to go like 100% in the gym like you used to, or, you know, feeling like you're totally on top of your nutrition and your training. I get it. Like, trust me, I get that more than anybody. But just know that, like, you just need to pivot in your fitness journey at this point. You're just prioritizing your internal health. You're getting back to your roots, and you're just restoring your body from the inside out and giving it what it deserves and what your body needs. And trust me, I promise you, you're gonna be so happy when you get your period. It's gonna be so worth it. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any other videos that you want me to make about HA, I will be more than happy to do so. If you enjoyed it, please give the video a thumbs up. It really just helps out my channel and just lets me know if you guys are liking the stuff that I'm posting. And for this whole month of December, I'm not really doing like a vlogmas, but I am posting 2 videos a week, one on Wednesday and one on Sunday. So if that interests you and you don't want to miss any of them, definitely subscribe to my channel. I'm sending you guys so much love, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.